Hello, this is Veterans News, a production of the United Veterans Organization of Nassau County. My name is Ed Allman. I'd like to thank Erica Bradley for North Shore TV for the use of her studio facilities here in Lake Success, and Mike Peters for his technical support for providing the training for our crew. The show is broadcast on public access television. I'd like to say hello to our viewers in both Nassau and Suffolk County. I'd like to thank Sabrina Lacey, former commander and current chaplain of the Suffolk County, which is District 11, VFW, for being our co-host. Welcome, Sabrina.
Thank you, Ed.
Our guest today is Major Dennis Graziosi of the Recruiting District Marine Corps Headquarters in Garden City. We'll talk to our guest in just a few minutes. But first, I would like to thank our crew. On camera 1, Bob Graneri, he's the general. On camera 3 is Mike Felix. Our graphics director is Loretta DeBrino. Our assistant producer is Eric Spinner. And our director in training is Mike Ferraro. And our reel director is Gene Schurer. By the way, if any of the crew members would like to host the show, just find a guest and you can host one. Now let us remember the veterans who died recently. Ken Cadu, a member of the 955th Artillery during the Korean War. He was past commander of Nassau County American Legion. Also a member of the Long Island Cemetery Advisory Committee, the UVO, and many other veterans organizations. He will be missed. Erwin Kabat died December 31st. Bruce Blower was a lieutenant in the Screaming Eagles, 101st Airborne Division, and a member of the Paralyzed Vets, AMVETS, and Disabled American Veterans. Patrick McBride, a World War II Navy veteran, died at the age of 99. William Russell was an Air Force vet who played soccer and skied while he was in Germany. John Lacey served in the U.S. Army from 1960 to 62. Edwin Brooks served in the U.S. Army from 64 to 67. John Dwyer was decorated U.S. Army veteran who died on his 26th birthday. A member of the 82nd Airborne Division, he was born in Serbia and loved his adopted country. That's terrible. He died at 26 years old. Kenneth Rowland was a proud Army veteran and a Nassau County police officer. Art Andrews died at 87 years old. He was a proud Navy vet. Franklin Wackler served in the U.S. Army. He married his high school sweetheart, Rose, 68 years ago. Thomas Campbell, a 96-year-old vet from the U.S. Army and a graduate of the University of Minnesota as an aerospace electrical engineer. If you know a veteran who died recently and you would like their name mentioned here, contact me, please, at mardiv1@optimum.net. Now it's time for a guest. Welcome, Major.
Thank you, Ed.
Okay.
Very honored to be here.
All right. Dennis Graziosi. You met Sabrina?
Yes.
Okay. We'd like to know something about you. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Altoona, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, and stationed here in Garden City, New York.
Okay. How long have you been in the Marines?
I've been in the Marines total for 19 years. I started out in the reserves, did 4 years in the reserves, and then transitioned to the active duty component, and went active duty from there. So 19 years total.
When you were in the reserves, were you already an officer?
No, I was enlisted first.
Enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you hadn't graduated from college yet?
No, so I graduated high school, went to recruit training basically the next week, did my training in the summer, missed the first semester of college, and then started one semester late, and then did 3.5 years of college while being in the reserves on the enlisted side, and then did my officer training in the summers between semesters, and then went active duty once I graduated college, commissioned as an officer, and went active duty from there.
Right.
Sir, what did your parents say when you decided to go right out of high school? I'm quite sure the viewers want to know that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my dad actually brought up the idea he worked in the medical field, and he wanted somebody in our family to become a doctor, serve in the medical field, and he said, why don't you join the military, and they can pay for your medical school, and you can become a doctor. And I did my research. I went and talked to every branch, and I came back to him and said, I want to join the Marine Corps Infantry and be a machine gunner. And so they were not happy at first, but they supported me, and they've been very supportive parents from the start. So.
And you also served overseas, right?
I did. After I went active duty, I deployed to Afghanistan in 2011 and served there for 7 months.
How old were you when you were there?
I was 22 when I was there.
So you had to have that conversation with your parents again?
Yes. Yeah, they were supportive at that point, especially seeing me, Paris Island graduate and become a Marine. They were fully supportive. They did not want me to go to Afghanistan, obviously, but they were supportive and supported me while I was over there.
All right. I want to thank your parents for supporting you.
Yes.
And today, look at you now, all right?
That's right.
Serving our country and serving well.
Yeah.
Making more leaders in our communities and in our world. Thank you.
It's my
Did you
pleasure.
get any financial help from the Marine Corps to go through college?
Absolutely. So I used the GI Bill to help pay for most of my school, and then they had it was called the Career Starter Loan. It was a very low interest loan, and I used both of those to kind of pay for school. And then my goal was to save a portion of my GI Bill for my kids, which I ended up doing. And then I used tuition assistance to get a master's degree while I was active duty. So I've tried to maximize the education benefits and opportunities that the Marine Corps has.
Very good. What duty stations have you been assigned to?
So I started out in the reserves at Moundsville, West Virginia, at a reserve center there. Once I went active duty, I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Right.
And then I served as an instructor at Quantico, Virginia, and then back down to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I just love the East Coast, and I love the base there. And then I'm on recruiting duty now in Garden City. So those are kind of the duty stations that I was stationed at.
Did you serve overseas?
I did. I did a couple deployments. So my first deployment to Afghanistan in Helmand Province. My second deployment, I went to Romania for a couple months, and then I went on ship in 2017.
Right.
And then most recently in 2019, I was in Okinawa, Japan for 6 months.
What was it like to be in Afghanistan?
So it was, I like to say some of the best of times, some of the worst of times. I felt like I was truly making an impact and helping people. And then obviously, seeing a Marine injured or get hurt is not, those are kind of the lowest of days.
Yeah.
But overall impact, I would say, was valuable, and don't regret any, my time on any of the deployments.
When I was in Korea, we served side by side with the South Koreans. Did you all have that kind of relationship with the people that were in Afghanistan?
Absolutely. The Afghans were embedded with us, both the National Army and the National Police. So we worked hand in hand with them. We lived with them. They lived with us. We trained together. We went out on patrol together. And then similarly, when I was in Okinawa most recently, we did train with the South Koreans, and they partnered with us and executed the same training that we did.
What is one of the things you learned from those people, from the Afghanistan people, that you didn't know before you went over there?
I'd say that they're just as hardworking and care just as much about their family and their own people just like we do. So I could relate with them in that respect, and they learned very quickly through the training that we gave them, how to protect themselves and how to do certain things that we need to do, especially from a security standpoint.
Major, you're in charge of the recruiting duty in the New York area?
Yes, I'm the commanding officer for Recruiting Station New York, and we basically cover all enlisted and officer recruiting in the 5 boroughs, and then also Long Island.
Right. What do you say to a young high school student that's thinking about joining the Marine Corps? What do you tell them the food is like? I mean, do you even tell them?
Sure.
Do they ask about the food?
No, I mean, that's a great question. I think that we talk about the overall impact that you will have being a United States Marine, and how the experience will enhance you, in your career, your professional goals, develop your character, instill discipline. So I'd say it's the overall, what you get out of becoming a United States Marine and earning the title United States Marine. and that overall experience is worth it. I think, based on my experience, I've never had to complain about the food or living conditions. I've, enjoyed everywhere I've been. And I will say, for the food, traveling around, you get to experience a lot of different cultures and a lot of different food. So I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Right. What's it like to be a Marine as far as education? Are there opportunities to learn something? You spend 2 or 3 years in the Marine Corps. What do you do after that?
Sure. And like we like to tell the young men and women that we're speaking with, we don't hold you back from going to school. We believe that education is very important, and we try to help you and help financially, and then also provide the guidance and direction to go to school. So I think we facilitate education, college education, through helping financially or just providing the guidance and direction. Each base has an education center very close to our bases, and they help guide 18, 19-year-olds that may not have directly went to college. But there's a lot of financial opportunities between the GI Bill, tuition assistance program. That's just to name a few, but we believe that education is very important, and we want to encourage that.
If they get a degree, the enlisted people, can they get promoted because they have that particular degree, or how does it impact them?
It does help their points towards promotion and building their career. There's also enlisted to officer programs that are available for them that they can compete for, and that will allow them to transition from enlisted to officer.
Is it true that they say once a Marine, always a Marine?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Because I'm Army, so some of my comrades that's in my Veterans of Foreign War, my VFW organization, they always stand tall and they always stand firm. And whenever I give them direction, they carry it all the way out. And they'll come back to me and they say, "Commander, you did not say that." I was like, I didn't think I have to say that, but they do. And like I said, and you're a testimony to that, so thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I've read a lot in the newspaper about the Marine Corps doesn't have a problem recruiting. Your job is very easy, I guess.
Yeah. No, it is very challenging. We did make our mission last year of what our recruitment goals were, and it is very challenging. It's a challenging job. We try to attract the best and the brightest, the best quality that we can. We try to physically prepare them, and when you look at what it takes to, find and attract a young man or woman to want to join the service and then join the Marine Corps, and physically prepare them for the rigors of recruit training. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work on our recruiters and our staff to help support them.
Okay.
And then most of them, when they come in, I know when I joined, I had the passion because I wanted to join. And I was eager to learn, and I had that leadership ability.
Sure.
And then it gave me the opportunity, even as an enlisted person, and then you grow through it and you grow up to a different point in the leadership, right? How do you tell the young ones that are coming to your office that when they join the Marines, that they're not only going to obtain leadership, education, and money, but friendship for life?
Yes.
So how could you give us an example of what have happened to you? Because you served 19 years in the military.
Right, yeah.
So what would you say?
So I think what I would tell them is they're going to experience a camaraderie and a brotherhood and a sisterhood like no other, and they start to actually feel that after they enlist. So when they enlist, they join what's called the Delayed Entry Program, and that's a specific program where their recruiters are preparing them physically and mentally to go to recruit training. And through that process, they're doing it with other applicants and other people that have enlisted, and they're starting to build that camaraderie before even going to recruit training. And then we also have Marines that graduate and come back, and they see the end product of someone who's earned the title United States Marine, and they see how close they are with fellow Marines, and so they get to share that. But that's one of the most important things that we have is our culture, our camaraderie that we have in the Marine Corps.
What is one of the things you see when you send them off and then they come back? What do you see in that Marine when they come back? When they left, they were a little timid, and then they came back, and what are they?
I'd say the two things that come to mind are pride and confidence. And I don't mean pride in a boastful way, but they're proud of what they've accomplished. And we see parents that don't want to see their son or daughter go to recruit training. but then they go down to Parris Island and see them graduate, and they see what, you know, what they've, how physically fit they become, how confident, the discipline that they have. So I'd say that, you know, one of the biggest things is the pride aspect that they get coming back.
And you served in Camp Lejeune, right? During that time, as of today, they're talking about the water,
Sure.
and that's the big
Oh,
topic, right?
Yeah.
So we have to touch on that, of course, right?
Okay.
What year were you there, and do you qualify in that area?
I do not. I think it was before my time, and we lived on base housing, but we didn't experience any issues or, you know, medical concerns or health concerns. You know, we knew of the, you know, what had happened in the past. I can't speak to the specifics of it, but we weren't endangered or, you know, part of that time period. I believe it was before, you know, well before I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you were married,
Yes.
and how long you've been married?
I've been married for 12 years to my wife, Stacy. She stays home with the kids, and she's
And how
a
many
nurse.
kids?
I have 3 kids, so I got 2 older girls, 8 and 5, and then the youngest is a boy. He's 3.
You've been married 12 years,
Yes.
and you've been in the Marine Corps 19 years?
Yes.
Did you have a cross-sword wedding?
I did.
You
yes.
did?
Mm-hmm.
Very
I had
good.
a lot of my Marines, my friends came up for the ceremony, and they did the sword detail. For
Very
it.
good.
Yeah, it was
Dress
great.
whites?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did I.
Yeah,
Very
it was
good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take the time. What is your wife's name?
Stacy.
I want to take the time and thank Stacy and all those Stacy wives out there for supporting our soldiers while they're here and while they're gone. And I wanted to say to them, it's a tough thing, but you never give up because you have a calling too. And a wife is one of the most important leadership role for that
Yes.
soldier when he comes back. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Stacy.
Can you talk a little bit about what happens to a recruit when he goes to Parris Island?
Mm-hmm.
What do those yellow marks on the floor mean, and how long are they there?
They're there for 13 weeks, and it's a very historical process. We take pride in the history of the Marine Corps and recruit training. So the yellow footprints, like you said, they're still the same yellow footprints that you probably stood on. They pass through the same, you know, entryway door for the first time. But the experience they get down there, initially I think, is a culture shock, because you take a young man or woman who may be playing video games or sleeping in on Saturdays, and you put them in an environment where every minute is calculated for training time, whether it's physical training or education, and they're not used to that. And you know, the drill instructors are yelling to increase the amount of stress that you feel, and they start to transition and develop from
Drill
there.
instructors. Boy, I have the strongest memory of what my drill instructor looked like. Wow.
We talked earlier about how many recruits are joining now and what the numbers are. Can you tell the viewers a little bit, why do we need their grandchildren and their sons and daughters to join the military during this time?
Well, I think this is a very special country. We have a democracy and freedom, and we want to protect that. And the Marine Corps especially wants to have an impact. We want to support the Constitution. We want to support the country, defend the country as needed, and it's important. And it doesn't happen without young men and women raising their right hand to take an oath of enlistment. So it is important for our future.
Yes. And how many more recruits do we need? If we need to get up and we only have a certain amount, what would be the challenges if we do not have those women and men, young, join into our force right now?
Right. You know, I think there can be obviously long-term impacts of not fulfilling the right amount of people that we have. Each unit has a certain task organization that they should fulfill in order to be a fully outfitted unit. And if that doesn't continue, then the military either has to adjust and become smaller with those organizational units, or you know, we need to increase the recruitment. So you know, I know that it's been challenging the past couple years from a recruiting standpoint, but the Marine Corps picks, you know, very strong individuals that come on recruiting duty, and you know, I think we've got a very strong brand associated with the Marine Corps. You know, we like to say we're the most elite branch. No offense to the Army, we take pride in it, and that's one of the things that I think that helps us out in attracting, you know, the best and the brightest of our youth.
Yes, I was saying also, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't join, when we had the Sandy storm, remember that one? And when we have any kind of insurrection inside our country, the Marines and the Army and our forces are still drilling here. They're still protecting our perimeter here. And they're still protecting our borders. Although Canada is there, correct me if I'm wrong, we still got to make sure that we law and order up there near Canada. So it's not just here and above, it's everywhere. So, and then the business areas as well, right? Because I know they down there on 34th Street. They're still there, right?
What's
So-
on 34th Street?
The support, the military support. The military support is still there.
What military support is on?
The Army.
Where is 34th Street? In
Manhattan.
Manhattan?
Yeah, New York City.
And the Army is there?
Yeah.
Are the Marines there?
We're not on 34th Street, but I can't speak to the Army there.
Yeah.
But I know we've got reserve
When you're getting
units
off the
and,
when you're getting off the Long Island Railroad, you'll see them there. All right, they're everywhere. You may not see them in their uniform. I'm one, even though I'm retired, but we never retire. All right, I'm one, and I still have my little stuff going on, right? So you don't know who's standing next to you. And I want to point out to those people out there, don't believe that we don't have anybody here. We have a lot of people here, but we changed our tenacity the way we handle our business now. And it's still called secret clearance, am I right, sir?
yes,
Okay, we still have some secrets, don't we?
we do have secret clearance.
They don't know everything, do they? No. So if you want to join, if you're not sure you want to join the military, join one of the, come down to one of the nonprofit organizations, the VFWs, the American Legions, the AMVETS, and you can get a little taste of what you can hear and ask those questions before you go and talk to a recruiter. Also, the recruiters come to us. So when we have our little stand downs and stuff like, the recruiters will come out there, and you could come out there and you can ask questions. And as you can see, I'm still here. I served 20 years. Ed served in Vietnam. He's still here, right? And you managed to have 3 kids and a beautiful wife,
Yes.
Stacy, and you're still here. So we need everyone to think about when they want to make that decision, it goes by quick. And I'm going to use this example. My grandson graduated 2 years ago from high school. I told him if he would have joined, he would only have how many years, sir, left if he joined the Marines 2 years ago?
18
Right.
to retirement.
And what would he have accomplished after the 18 years? Well, they start transitioning you out after how many months prior to your time finish? When
So
you
it's
finish.
kind of dependent on the individual, whether they stay in at 20 years and transition from there. We do offer programs like transition programs, and those can be several months before you get out of the Marine Corps or retire. So there's a lot of different options. It just depends on the individual person's preference.
Right, but you'll prepare them to come out.
Yes.
And then we standing there waiting for them to come, and then we're going to guide them back into the civilian world.
right.
So we working
We
together.
recruit them back in.
Yes, exactly. So thank you.
Major, what are your plans for the future? Are you going to stay in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying my time in the Marine Corps. I'm enjoying the experience, and I'm going to stay in as long as I can. And then, after I retire, I'll maybe go teach somewhere at a university or something like that. But, for now, I'm just enjoying my time. I love being a Marine and going to stay in as long as I can.
Okay.
And where your parents are now,
They're still in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
right? I want to say thank you. You did a wonderful job. And look, they can do some teaching too. They teach us how to do and take care of our kids and make our kids leaders like yourself, sir.
Thank you.
If your troops had one word to say about you, what would they say? Are you a good leader or are you a tough leader?
I think I'd say 2 words: tough and fair. So I think that's what they'd say.
And that's what leadership is.
Major, do you have something you'd like to say to the prospective recruits out there?
I would just offer that, especially for high school students or those that have just recently graduated, we spend a lot of time talking with young men and women after they've graduated high school. And I just say that you're at a transition point, a new chapter of your life. And I'm not saying everybody should go join the military, but it should be at least an option considered. If anything, you're just going to make a more informed decision of what you want to do, to come into a recruiting office in any branch, and seek out knowledge and see what the differences between each branch are. And that's what I would offer is, get the education of what the military and especially the Marine Corps is like, and how that can help you in your future goals, because you're at a transition point, a new chapter of your life.
Yeah. Do any high schools invite a recruiter to come on board?
Sure, we work very close hand with the high schools, over 600 between Long Island and New York City.
600 high schools.
Yes. And we
Wow.
work with them every day to, put the information out there, to put the scholarship opportunities and the education and the benefits of the Marine Corps. So we work with them every day.
Oh, very good.
I'm on a scholarship program at the Brentwood Junior ROTC program. Last year when we had our fundraiser, our gala, one person got $1 million scholarship money
Wow.
from the recruiting
Wow.
area. I'm still astonished about that one.
Wow.
And they're humble. So when you're going into high school and you're going into like the junior ROTC, you're learning a lot, and that's an indication too. And then the recruiters are sitting at the table, and then you can come ask the questions. But a lot of them are getting the funds, and they also going in.
Sure.
So there's a lot of scholarship fund money, and there's a lot of money, bonuses, clear money that you can help your parents out if they need help.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on.
All right. I wonder if I can get the crew up here. Mike, and Mike, come on up here. Bob, come on up.
Do you have any animals at
How
home?
about
have
from
a
back
golden
in the
retriever.
control
Oh,
room?
nice.
Come on.
Nice.
Come on up.
Nice.
There we go. Good.
And I also
Good.
want to take a chance to say my prayers to those 3 veterans that were recently killed.
Yes.
Okay, and also want to say hello to.
Very good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to say hello to all the parents out there, and I want y'all to realize that we serve in the military. We serve you. Thank you.
Okay. This is Eric, Mike, Bob, Rebecca.
Loretta.
Loretta.
It's okay.
I don't know. I've known you for how many years?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I do have something to say, and of course I can't find it. This is terrible. All right. There we go. We're out of time. Okay. If you are watching the show on Cablevision, look next week for the same time, the same station for a repeat. We have a new show every month, 31 seconds left. You can catch us on public access channels on MNN Network in New York City and on Verizon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, crew.
Yeah.